sixth game in the best possible way, meaning it was stressful, and it by no means was a sure thing. There weren't very many happy Steelers sitting at 6-0. As right guard David DeCastro put it, there's no room for complacency. And that's because Sunday's game was such a jarring tale of two halves. In the first half, the defense shut down Uber running back Derrick Henry, made life extremely difficult for the Titans, and while the offense played exceptional defense in keeping the ball away and getting a lead. But then in the second half, momentum swung in every possible way. The Titans were able to move the ball much more at will, where the Steelers seemed unable to go back to the formula that was working for them earlier in the game. Mike Tomlin likes to say that the best way to learn is off of a win. He has that win, but Cam Hayward made the point that the Steelers have a lot of learning to do and that there are much bigger challenges than this Titans road game ahead, namely a trip to Baltimore this weekend. Tomlin will address the media later on today, and we'll see what those strongest lessons are. The good news is it's unlikely that Ben Roethlisberger, who's played such mistake-free football all year, is going to have another 3-interception outing.
This is the game, baby. Steelers at Ravens. I cannot wait to see that one. Must watch. But right now, guys, it's time for Give Me Strength, presented by Oikos 000. And I want to ask you guys, what performance gave you strength this past week? Week 7, Garofalo, go.
You know, I'm Italian, so when I hear this, I think, oh, Oikos, give me strength. That's what, you know, maybe your mother or your grandmother would say when you pushed her just a little too far, when things were just at the point, she was at her breaking point. So I'm thinking New York Jets. And you know what's giving me strength for the New York Jets? Mekhi Becton. There you go, Jets fans. There's your silver lining on your gray cloud right now, because if you're watching this guy, you're saying, okay, I've got some hope. I've got some hope that maybe somebody knows what's going on there. Yeah, Joe Douglas does. And I think that this is a sign that he knows how to spot talent and he can bring it and build a roster that maybe is going to start to dictate things and not have things dictated to them. Now, he's probably not going to win Offensive Rookie of the Year because we got quarterbacks going bananas. He's been injured, and offensive linemen have won Rookie of the Year. Let's see, never. But this guy has been an absolute beacon in the darkness for the Jets so far this year, and he did it again this week.
Okay, all right, let me start this thing off like Mike G. You know I'm African-American, so when I hear Oikos give me strength, I think of Wakanda. And Jamal Williams, he was running like he had vibranium in his legs. I'm telling you, he was balling out. The Green Bay Packers, they were without Aaron Jones, and Jamal did his thing. And check him out celebrating. This right here gives me strength. Yeah, that's straight out of Wakanda for you. Helmet pops off, he's still flexing. Hey, Kyle, you know this. When you playing football and your helmet pops off, that is the scariest moment ever. He still kept running, kept moving and doing his thing. He had a touchdown, over 100 yards total, rushing and receiving. Shout out to Jamal Williams. He gave me strength. KB, who you got?
And the defense goes nuts when the helmet comes off. Very simple. Alvin Kamara quietly having an unbelievable season. I say quietly. I don't know how many people watched the Saints game this past weekend. But if it's 3rd and 8, he gets 9 yards. If it's 3rd and 30, he gets 31 yards. No Emmanuel Sanders, no Mike Thomas. Alvin Kamara taking this team on his shoulders. It's brilliant. He's fresh. He's explosive. He does everything the Saints need. One of the best players in the league right now. He gives me strength.
Oh, yeah. Best running back in the game. More Good Morning Football on the way. We've got lots to get to.
I didn't say Derrick Henry.
Will be joining our show. No Peter Schrager. Mike Garofalo is here. Instead, we've got Toe Drag Swag. We'll talk Odell Beckham. Melissa Stark joins us. And we're all
this a lot. And my mindset is continue to look at it, continue to have these conversations, continue to work through this because the season does continue on. 5-2. Everything's in front of us. Season's not over. I think that's important to remind every single person, you know, not only in the locker room, but out there, you know, the season's not over.
So they lose to the Colts and the Rams. The Chicago Bears are five. You know, nice record. I get it, but they've only beaten one team with a 500 or better record. Okay, they've only beaten one, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, on a Thursday night. They're sitting there 5-2, among the best teams in the conference. Mike G, do the Bears belong in the conversation with these teams?
No, they don't. And I know the old adage that defense wins championships, but in this NFL, the current NFL, you've got to score points. And so when I look at the teams in the bottom 10 of points scored in the NFL, I've got one team at 500, that's the Detroit Lions, and then I've got the Bears at 5-2. Everybody else has a losing record. You can't come out and put in offensive performances like we have seen from the Bears and try to rely on your defense, because you're just going to get outpaced. So until this offense shows some kind of spark, some kind of something you've got to worry about a little bit. Until that happens, I can't put them in the conversation as teams that you've got to worry about and teams that could make some noise in the postseason.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, man. It just seems like this team doesn't have it. As good as the record is, it starts and ends with the quarterback. You know, Nick Foles is a good quarterback. And I know we joke about it having to be some type of high-pressure situation for him to be successful. But he's wildly inconsistent. You know, with Nick Foles in that comeback over the Falcons had 3 TDs in one half. And we were like, holy smokes, this is it. This is the type of offense that we want to see week in and week out for the Bears. The last 4 games, he's had 3 TDs, but he's also had 4 interceptions. So that inconsistency, starting with the quarterback, that's where the struggles are. And until they correct that, we'll keep talking about how good their record is, how fantastic their defense can be, and how inconsistent their offense is.
Yeah, and the Foles interceptions have been bad interceptions. They're one of those D- ones that look really bad. The problem is that, you know, you lose to Indianapolis, nobody really watched that game. Now it's the national conversation. You can't do that on Monday night. Now you're out in the open. This is what I would say. I've already been very honest about how bad they were last night in the highlight. This is what I would say. Nick Foles tries to make the point. He says, listen, we're 5-2 and we have this cushion to work with. And in a sense, he is right. He is right in the sense that they got the 5 wins. They're chugging along. But the Bears right now, they're the kid doing their homework in the passing period between 3rd and 4th period in the hallway on their friend's back. Like, it's a crazy way to learn an offense on the fly. And 5-2, when you play the Saints and Titans next, can easily be 5-4. Nick Foles, here's the other thing they have going for him. They are unwaveringly positive. I do not think at any point, whether it be this week or next week, you will get a Dallas Cowboys factor where you will have Cowboys, or Bears rather, slipping things to the media or complaining. I think their locker room is amazing. I think their belief is incredible. And I actually do think that means something, because it's going to be tough sledding. The only question the Bears have right now, I would look at this long term. They're not good right now. They're not amongst the elite. They're average team. Can they get good by December while they keep their record? Can this be a 10-6 team or even a 9-7 that makes the playoffs? And 2 months from now, we're going to be like, remember how bad they were against the Rams? Their offense was terrible. Can they fix it on the fly? Because Matt Nagy, Lazar, DiFilippo, all those guys, if you're doing your homework right before class starts because you decided to switch majors, you better get it done. This was on you. And the clock is ticking, because 5-4 is going to be about 5 minutes from here, and that cushion is going to be gone.
I see what you're saying. I don't think they're going to be like the Cowboys, but Kyle, there are already reports. You and I we follow a lot of Chicago media. There's reports that Nick Foles spoke to someone at ESPN and said that he knows when he gets the play call that he's not going to have enough time to get the ball out. That's a report that's out there. It hasn't been confirmed maybe by Ian and Mike and Tom and the guys. I'll leave that to them. I will say we have to bring up Mitchell Trubisky in this conversation. Is it crazy to bring him up? We're talking about the offensive line issues. They're dreadful. Doesn't that mean you want a more mobile quarterback back there trying to make things happen when everything breaks down? Mitchell Trubisky, he had no leash. They yanked him out really, really early, and now you have Nick Foles there. Inconsistencies like Nate's talking about, sitting at 2-2. I would say, I don't know, would Mitchell Trubisky lose them a game? He hasn't lost them a game. He hasn't lost them a single game this season. Foles came in against the Falcons. I'm not convinced that Mitchell Trubisky wouldn't have led a game-winning drive or a comeback against the Falcons. A lot of quarterbacks have this year. So I credit Nagy to getting this team to 5-2.